Figured I'd do a quick video on practical uses of a portable video magnifier CCTV. And the reason is because I think some of you might not fully understand. There are three big things that I consider important. Now, I used to think one of them was battery life. I'll get to that in a moment. In case you're wondering, I did put up a video earlier about important features important to me in a portable video magnifier. Read that. This is more of a practical look at a lot of the same features, as well as a bit of an update. Let's say that this is a textbook. Okay, so let's say that I'm doing some reading in my book. It can be done like this to read it. The most difficult part of the Ubuntu installation process isn't difficult at all. So let's say, oh, that's an important note, I want to write it down. Well, what I would usually do is, I would be like, the most difficult part of the Ubuntu installation, come over here, and let's see if I can get that to stay open. Hang on a moment. The most important part, etc. I'd be typing like that. Then I'd be going back to the book and see I even lost my place. That's an example of what I currently go through with reading. Of course, I would be using a magnifying glass, but even with the magnifying glass, I'd still be leaning in, though not as much. Let's say that this blank sheet of paper is a test. The print's incredibly small, so what I would have to do then is I would have to get in like this in order to see the material. Now obviously they do enlarge. I can have the tests enlarged, but then what about the take-home tests? What about professors who you ask them to enlarge and they forget, and it's like, oh, you have to get this done in a few days? I've had that happen. Or sometimes they enlarge and it's not large enough. I've had that happen. So you have your reading and your writing right there. The third, you can see me waving my hand in the camera here. Let's say up there on that wall, all the way up here, is a menu from a McDonald's, okay? I can't see all the way up there, particularly since, you know, this is just an example, but obviously the menus would be further back. I can't see that. Now, I could go ahead and take my monocular, take it out, focus in on the item of interest, in this case, the menu at McDonald's, until I see and can make a decision. The problem with going that route is you've got hungry customers in front of you, especially if you're like anybody else and eat during the normal lunch hours. Standing there with my neck cricked in a line, you know, that would make a lot of other customers angry, and some of you will say, well, just step to the side. You know, sometimes it can get crowded enough to where you can't necessarily, quote, step to the side without interrupting somebody else's view. So something like this with a distance facility would enable me, like a portable video magnifier with a distance facility, would enable me to zoom in on the menu, take a snapshot, and essentially essentially, go somewhere else and make a decision on the menu, or I can take a picture of the flight monitor up here at the airport, One of the things that I've scratched off my list is battery life, and some of you may think, well, wait a moment, battery life was one of your most important things. That was until I discovered that there are some of the portable video magnifiers out there that can charge over USB. Now, during class, what would happen is, which is probably the longest amount of time I would use it, besides taking notes at home with homework, is I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought here. Essentially, I could plug it. There we go. I got it back. We could plug it in to the computer during class, and I could take my notes while using my CCTV to read any worksheets that have been given to me. Not all units have this facility, and that's understandable. The majority of people with low vision are not my age. They are senior citizens who would probably not have experience with the computer. Now, granted, the USB in options do allow you to charge via the AC adapter. The trouble is they're not clearly labeled AC, so I can see where some people will get confused. But still, for somebody in the younger generation who's used to this kind of thing, I think that having the facility to charge over USB would be a good one versus having the longer battery life. If I could have it over USB, then battery life's not necessarily going to be a big deal to me. But something along those lines. And something where I could hook it up to the computer, and the idea is, remember how I showed you I was going back and forth between the paper here, the textbook, and the computer, doing that, going back and forth and back and forth, that's a bit of a problem for me because I also have mild cerebral palsy. So something with a real nice big screen where I could see, like I could maybe glance over here, then back here, then over here, then back here. Or I could just feed it into my computer and have it up as a separate window, having my literature in one window and my text in another. That I could just go between two windows as opposed to moving my head around and my back around so much. But those are practical uses of a portable video magnifier, as well as a bit of a recap and an update to the feature list. Anybody have anything in mind? And I did speak to my doctor. He thinks that
it's 1 o'clock.
I explained to him a lot of the textbooks that I've been getting lately have been you know how you have some textbooks with glossy paper? I don't like that. And what's worse is that a lot of times the optical magnifiers will create glare. That makes it even worse. And he said that because of this, he felt that a portable video magnifier CCTV would be of assistance, could be of assistance, and that I should look into getting one. So those of you who have been providing your input, thank you. Please continue. But anyway, thank you for watching. You now have a more up-to-date up-to-date look at what I would like and practical uses of how I would use it. Thank you for watching. Comments are welcome. Insults against me will get you blocked, and have a nice day.